I just watched Spider-Man Brand New Day, and all I can say is absolute cinema. Fantastic movie. Extraordinary. Spectacular, some would say. Honestly, I got out of this movie very happy, very satisfied. As a Spider Man fan, it was fantastic from start to finish. The story was amazing. The choreography was out of this world. The man that did the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings choreography did the one for Spider-Man Brand New Day, and it was fantastic. This movie was amazing, the most street level Spider-Man movie we've ever had, to be honest, and also the most perfect Spider-Man Peter Parker dynamic we have seen in every Spider-Man movie so far. And what I mean by that is Tom Holland did an amazing job as being Spider-Man and Peter Parker. There was always these debates where Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker, but Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man, and Tom Holland it's something like in between maybe, but not the best and not the worst. Well, in this movie, Tom Holland proved that he can do the most perfect Spider-Man and the most perfect Peter Parker. To be honest, I loved his performance. It was amazing from start to finish. It was pure cinema, to be honest. It was everything the fans wanted from an actor to do for Spider-Man and Peter Parker. He did an amazing job. He outdid his past performances as Spider-Man. All I can say is congratulations, Tom Holland. You did a fantastic, spectacular job. It was amazing. Honestly, I was very fascinated by his performance in this movie. And before we get into the deeper review, I'm just gonna say this. The first part is gonna be the non spoiler review for this movie. I'm just gonna touch the bases, no details, no nothing. And after that, we're gonna get into the spoiler territory. So don't skip. Watch from this moment on for the non spoiler review to see if you wanna watch this movie. Perhaps if you're unsure, maybe I can answer some questions, maybe make you feel more certain about this movie. So without further ado, let's get right into the review. First off, this movie starts right where we were left on Spider-Man No Way Home. Of course, if you want to experience this movie fully, you kind of have to watch the other three movies, which is basically a no-brainer. Obviously, you have to watch them to fully consume and fully enjoy this movie and understand everything, like every detail. So yeah, this movie, well, it doesn't necessarily need make you doesn't necessarily forces you to watch the other three movies. I mean, if you are a random person like someone's boyfriend or girlfriend and you want to go in and watch this movie because your boyfriend or girlfriend is a huge fan of Spider-Man and the MCU, but you know nothing, you can go to the cinema without fearing that you're gonna be lost. Like, you're gonna be like, okay, what's going on in here? What's up? I mean, they kind of tell you what happened. Like, you have some flashbacks and a few moments thrown in there to make you understand what happened and what is going on and what are the stakes and why are we at this stage, or actually why Peter Parker Spider-Man is at this stage of his life and why he's doing what he's doing and why he's in this predicament. And yeah, I think this movie is pretty friendly to all kind of viewers. Like, if you never touched Spider-Man, Tom Holland's trilogy, or any superhero movie at all, it is a very enjoyable and nice movie. Why is that? It's because it's a fresh story. It's something new. It's something different. You know, there are some key moments, obviously, very essential moments and very emotional moments in this movie that you kind of have to watch the previous movies to fully understand them and to truly feel them, But I think you can get a nice watch, a pretty good watch, without watching the other movies. It's pretty friendly. I'd say that. It's pretty friendly for any kind of viewer, even for someone that is not really into superhero stuff. Superheroes in general. Let's begin by saying this. I know I've mentioned it already. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna I'm gonna not stop talking about this, but this is the best Spider-Man ever. This is the best Spider-Man ever looked in any live action movies. It was fantastic. From the suit, so amazing. Such a nice suit. You can see that it's a homemade suit, not all that Tony Stark stuff or all the tech suits that Tom Holland had in the previous movies. It's so fresh, it's so nice, it's handmade, it looks fantastic, and honestly, it's a very nice homage to Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's suits. I have to mention this. Andrew Garfield's suit in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was my favorite live-action Spider-Man suit ever, but honestly, this suit in Brand New Day won me over. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Also, I've got this merch from the cinema. You can also see the symbols and kind of how the suit looks in this cup. This cup looks so cool, man. They also had a popcorn bucket with Spider-Man's head, but I wasn't really sure about this. But this cup, when I saw it, I was like, I want it. I need it. I'm gonna buy it. Anyway, yes, the best Spider-Man has ever looked, and not just by his costume, but also by the choreography in this movie. It was fantastic. It was amazing. Every fight scene was so full of life. It was so amazing. And as a fun fact, if you know about the games Marvel Spider-Man made by Insomniac, if you have a little bit of knowledge from it, if you don't, just gonna tell you. In this game, you have some special finishers, when you reach a certain amount of, let's say, I don't know, a bar of, superhero thing. I don't know how to actually call it. You can do a special finish. And in this movie, they referenced and actually did some of the special finishers from the games in this movie, which I thought it was amazing how they adapted it. I don't know how many of those I caught. I'm sure I saw 2 or 3 of them and I was like, oh shit, these are all in the game. That's cool. That's amazing. And honestly, it's nice when movies do stuff like this, like reference other pieces of media, like from this, from Spider-Man specifically. I thought that was amazing. Other than that, all I can say is the choreography. Man, I can't stop praising the fights, the choreography, how amazing it was. And not just the fights, but the way Spider-Man was web swinging through the city. It was so cinematic. It felt so alive, so great. Like the best from all of the movies, for real. Like I can't even lie to you or just sugarcoat it and praise this movie enough. They did an amazing job at representing Spider-Man. And like I said, the best Spider-Man, even in acting. We had the best Peter Parker and Spider-Man in the same movie. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I loved it. And now to get in the theme of the movie, it wants to capture how it feels for a man or for a person in general to isolate themselves from society or from people, to go through all his hardships alone, without counting on anyone, without having someone by their side to help them, understand his feelings, to go through them easier, if that makes any sense. Basically, a man that just wants to go through all of the pain, all of the grief, all of the responsibilities all alone without having someone even to talk to, like not even socialize or anything. And like I said, this movie starts right after Spider-Man No Way Home, and we all know that Spider-Man, well, actually, everyone forgot who Peter Parker is, and all he does is Spider-Man stuff. Like, after that movie, all he did was Spider-Man stuff, not even college, like, no work, nada. All he did was superhero stuff, superhero work, no friends, no nothing, just acquaintances. I hope I said that word right, man. English is so. I mean, it's not hard, but the pronunciation sometimes kicks my ass, and I'm kind of tired. Anyway, it captures that theme very beautifully, and it's a contrast between our hero Spider Man and the villain. They kind of go through the same thing, and they both kind of go through it differently. But I don't want to spoil it too much because I'm gonna talk more about it at the spoiler part of this review. But it was beautiful how they represented this team. One thing I didn't like was the conclusion of stuff when it comes to this thing, but I'm not saying by any means that the ending or the movie itself wasn't good when it came to representing this. It's just I kind of had different expectations and I kind of wanted a bit more, but it's not like a detriment or something too bad or I don't know too horrible to say like, oh my god, this movie sucks or the ending wasn't good at all, they didn't do enough. No, they did quite enough, but it wouldn't have hurt if they did a bit more, if you know what I mean. Another aspect that I want to talk about in this movie is the soundtrack. I'm just gonna talk real quick about it. The soundtrack was good. It was not amazing, like had some crazy OSTs or soundtrack that you'd be like, oh my god, I'm going home and I'm gonna remember that OST. Like, man, that sounded so cool. It hit different. Like, oh my god, that was tied to that specific moment and it was so perfect. No, the OST was great. It was, I mean, the soundtrack did its job. They captured every moment beautifully, exactly how it was supposed to, but it was nothing something crazy, you know, like a specific theme song that you would hear, like Darth Vader theme song when Vader was showing up and that theme like dun 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 dun. You'd be like, oh my god, of course I'm gonna remember that, you know, or Miguel O'Hara from Across the Spider-Verse. When you heard his song, it was like, oh my god, that hit hard. Oh my god, I'm gonna remember this one. Or Prowler from Into the Spider-Verse that got turned into a meme. You got my point. It was right at the middle. It was good. I don't want to say perfect, but actually it was perfect. It was good. Not a huge difference from the other Spider-Man movies, but it was good. It was nice. It did its job fantastic. It captured the moments beautifully. Now let's talk a bit about some main characters that appeared in this movie. We all know about Bruce Banner, Hulk. Everyone was like, oh my god, what are they gonna do with him? All I'm gonna say is he didn't play like a critical major point. He helped the plot, of course, obviously. He helped with some important stuff in the plot. I'm not gonna talk too much about his screen time, but during his appearances, it was great. It was nothing forced, it didn't feel out of place, it felt great to have Bruce Banner back in the movie, and of course we all know Savage Hulk appears in the movie, and everyone is like, oh my god, are they gonna ruin it or it's gonna be great? And all I can say is, it was great. It was nice seeing Savage Hulk. They did a great job with him. He looked better than ever. Well, we haven't seen Savage Hulk like since what? Or Ragnarok, I think it was? Something like that. And honestly, he looked amazing in this movie. It looked the best. My cat is here. She wanna say hi. Say hi, Evie. Oh, she wants to hug me. Okay, now we're gonna do this review with my cat on my shoulder. If she does not decides to leave. Savage Hulk, she left. Savage Hulk was amazing. It was nice. The next character I want to talk about is Frank Castle, the Punisher. When I saw him in the first trailer, and of course when I found out he's gonna be in this movie, I was so excited, so happy, but at the same time I was quite skeptical. But I was like, what are they gonna do with him in this movie? Are they gonna ruin his character? Are they gonna stay true to his character? But it's not an R-rated movie or show. It's not like 18 plus or something like that. What are they gonna do with Frank Castle? And honestly, they did a good job. They did not ruin his character whatsoever. The Punisher, Frank Castle, stayed the same as we know it. John Bernthal did an amazing job as the Punisher. It felt amazing. It felt very nice seeing him. There was, I'm not gonna lie, there were like 2 or 3 moments in this movie that I was like, I don't like that they did that with him. It felt out of place or it felt forced. I didn't quite enjoy them, but it was not something so bad like, oh my god, they ruined the Punisher. It's not amazing. It's not great. No, it was kind of uncomfortable. You were like, that's not very Punisher thing to say or very Punisher thing to do, but it's a Spider-Man movie, so we kind of expected that. It was, yeah, inevitable. But it was great. It was nice seeing Frank Castle. He did an amazing job, stayed true to his character. He helped the plot. He helped the movie feel great. His dynamic with Spider Man was great, amazing. I loved it. It was very nice, honestly. To see both of them share the screen, fantastic. I actually loved it. It was great. They did my boy almost justice. Almost. And honestly, if I were to rate this movie out of every live action movie, honestly, it's definitely in the top 3. Am I gonna say it's top 1? It's the best Spider Man movie ever. I kind of want to say it, but I kind of do not want to say it because I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna rewatch this movie soon enough, but for now, it's like here. It's between the second and first place. What is my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time? Honestly, I'm gonna be 100% transparent with you. It's the very first movie, Spider-Man, from the Sam Raimi trilogy, from the Tobey Maguire. I love the first movie with the Green Goblin. That's bias. That's subject. That's my personal opinion. That's my most favorite movie. This and No Way Home, to be honest, because it was more like a nostalgic movie, a very hyped movie, and it was also my best movie experience in a cinema ever. It was beautiful to see all 3 Spider-Man together, all the villains, them fighting together. It was great. It was amazing. But right now I'm talking from a story-wise point of view. And honestly, the first and the second Spider-Man from the Sam Raimi trilogy are the best, some of the best well-written live-action Spider-Man movies ever. And this movie is up there with them. To be honest, I would rate it as a first place, but it's also the thing that to fully enjoy it, you kind of have to watch the other movies, and it kind of plays a role into how much you can enjoy a movie and how much someone that didn't have any contact with superheroes or Spider-Man um, can impact them while watching the movie, if it makes sense. Anyway, the movie is amazing. It's great. I 100% recommend it. You should go watch it. Bring your mother, bring your grandmother, bring your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is, your dog. You can watch it all together, even if they or you perhaps may not know too much about Spider Man. It's a very friendly movie for all watchers. It's a great experience, beautiful movie. And if you're just there for some superhero stuff or some nice choreography, some nice cinema, you got everything in it. It's a great movie. I love it. And now to get into the spoiler review movie. If you got so far, that's great. Thank you. But from now on, we're gonna get into the spoiler territory. If you don't want any spoilers, just stop the video right here. Leave a like, subscribe, comment if you enjoyed the review so far. If not, in 3, 2, 1, we're starting the spoiler reviews. First things first, let me say this. Daredevil is not in this movie. You heard that right. He is not in this movie, and I'm actually happy he was not, because it wouldn't have made sense. It wouldn't have been, I don't know, he wouldn't have fit in this movie. And why I'm saying this, you're gonna understand while I kinda say the story of this movie. I'm kinda gonna story tell you everything that happened in this movie, to be honest. Like I said, the movie starts right after No Way Home. Peter Parker watches Instagram reels with Ned and MJ to see how they are. You can clearly see that Peter is sad that he cannot share all of those moments with them. They're in MIT, the college that all three of them wanted to join. He only sees them two enjoying it, having the time of their life, enjoying the college experience. He's sad that he can be there. We also, in the first 5-10 minutes of this movie, we have like a time skip, a 4-year time skip, because we have Peter, Spider-Man, fighting some criminals. Then he watches a reel. A year passes. He watches another reel. Be like, oh my God, we're second year. Then we're third year. And then this is our final year as college students. Oh my God, crazy. And meanwhile, in that montage, we see Spider-Man fighting Tombstone. He looks very goofy. He looks exactly how he looked in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the same haircut and stuff. Only he was blonde and he had, well, a white skin color, but not the white from the Into the Spider-Verse, that ashy thingy kind of skin. I don't know how to explain it. Either way, he looked goofy. Also, Spider-Man fighting Scorpion, beating him, getting him into prison, fighting some other criminals, yada yada yada. Jump forward, we see his relationship with the Wolf. If you know this officer by reading the comics, that's great. If not, she's an officer that Spider-Man works with. She's pretty popular in the comics. They work together. And like I said in the non-review spoilers, the whole team is Peter Parker, well, Spider-Man, isolating himself from society. All he does is work. He has no friends. He has no one. Everybody notices this. Even the Wolf is like, bro, you have no friends. You should socialize. You should do something else other than work. Like, as a superhero, all you do is work. And, you know, Spider-Man plays it off like, oh my God, well, if you love work so much, it's not even work. You're just having fun doing this for the love of the game, whatever, whatever. So we set the basis of this isolation of Spider-Man early on. We are gonna jump a bit forward to a sequence where Spider-Man tries to stop a tank that goes berserk in New York City. We also have Frank Castle running Spider-Man over with his truck. We already start to see their dynamic, which is hilarious and very funny. I actually really enjoyed their dynamic. It's like a big brother and little brother type of relationship, to say so. It's very hilarious, funny to see them both on the same screen. They both did an amazing performance. Great. Then we have this tank that's driven by a old lady, an old janitor lady that was manipulated by a telepath that kind of wanted to destroy the damage control organization or whatever. They just, well, he wanted to invade them and get something specific from them. This telepath, this antagonist villain, is trying to free Scorpion to use him for his or her plans. At this point, we don't really know who it is. Well, I'm gonna tell you in a second. And Spider-Man struggles to figure out who, why, or why is this person trying to do whatever it's trying to do. It tries to manipulate Spider-Man to get into his mind, but she or he couldn't do it. Okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna say the antagonist, the villain, is Jean Grey. Yes, the X-Men. An X-Men, a mutant, is finally in the MCU. Well, we also have a lot of mutants in Deadpool and Wolverine, which is an MCU movie, and we also had Beast and some other mutants that appeared in the previous movies, but it's actually the first time we see it in Earth 616 that we finally acknowledge the existence of mutants. Also, they don't, in this movie, they don't refer as Jean as a mutant or anything else, just as a telepath, as someone special with superpowers. And the whole team is, well, the whole point of this movie is that the leader of Damage Control tries to replicate or get his hands on Jean Grey's power, because it's an amazing power. It's fantastic. They took Jean Grey's sister Sarah. We had a flashback, a backstory of Jean Grey, where she and her sister Sarah were abandoned by her mother because they were special, because they had these telepathic powers, and Damage Control took Sarah away. Sarah, by mind controlling Jean, she saved her. She was taken by them, tortured, because they were trying to copy or understand how her power works from her brain waves. They killed her in the process, and Jean Grey is trying to get to her sister, save her. She doesn't know her sister is dead. She's just doing her best to get her. That's one thing about Jean Grey. That's kind of her motives, her reasons as a antagonist villains. By the end of the movie, she's turning into a good person, but we're gonna get to that in a second. After Jean Grey tried to infiltrate Spider-Man's mind and failing, Spider-Man is trying to gather up all the info he needs about her reasons. He's getting into good relationships with those from Damage Control. After that, he sees again an Instagram reel of Ned celebrating the fact that he and MJ got a new apartment. Peter crashes their party. He's had enough with being alone because everyone was making fun of them. Also, Yelena appears in this movie, plays a minor role, not too much. She also makes fun of Spider-Man. We have some goofy moments with them in a bathtub. Yes, in a bathtub. She makes Spider-Man get naked. Well, to his boxers. He was only wearing boxers and his mask, which was kind of hilarious. Everyone makes fun of Peter that he's alone, he has no friends, and Peter was like, okay, maybe I don't have to do this all alone. Let me try and get in contact with MJ and Ned. He goes into this party. He sees that MJ and Ned tries to figure out who Spider-Man is, because they also feel strange that Spider-Man saved them numerous times in DC Washington, in a school, in Europe when they visited, the old stuff with Night Monkey and shit. Then once again in No Way Home in New York, he saved them numerous times. And they feel conflicted. They're like, we are supposed to, we should know who Spider-Man is, but they don't get why they can't remember or why everything is so blurry. And their principal guesses were their science teacher and Flash Thompson, like their top guesses on who Spider-Man is. And of course, those are far-fetched, they're impossible. During that party, Spider-Man, Peter Parker sees MJ with her new boyfriend. He sees them kissing, and then he gets a mental breakdown. He starts swinging in the rain, all sad, all heartbroken, which is understandable, man. That scene hurt me, to be honest. It was painful to watch and see Peter so broken, so hurt from that. I was like, God damn it, man, he doesn't deserve that. Well, then he gets to his warehouse apartment. It's not the same apartment that he rented at the end of No Way Home. It's something a bit bigger and much dirtier, to say so. It's most likely like a hideout, like a warehouse where he keeps all his gadgets, costumes, all his cameras, computers, whatever. He gets there, and then he starts to feel very weird. His headaches start to get worse because he feels all the stress, all the effects that that isolation and that loneliness does to him. He starts to feel everything crumbling away with him, and that scene where he sees the love of his life kiss another man broke him. He fainted, and there started his new mutation, or if you want to say it, his change in DNA, a boost in his powers. I don't know how to call it. Let's say mutation. It's the perfect way to explain it. He starts to develop organic webs. His senses are much more sharper. His strength is more out of this world, much more powerful and stuff. And he has a very hard time controlling this power. And we see that in another confrontation with Scorpion, that he doesn't have any control over his powers. He feels lost. Even Jean Grey, well, Jean Grey was manipulating Scorpion this time into obtaining whatever she was trying to obtain. Well, she was trying to find her sister. It's a bit more complicated. I'm a bit tired, excuse me. But he was control. The point is, she was controlling Scorpion, and through Scorpion eyes, he tells Peter that he's losing himself. She can tell that he doesn't know who he is anymore. He's very confused, and these powers are displaying and are basically a visual and the physical manifestation, all his uncertainty, of his isolation, of his way of losing himself, if it makes sense, I guess. And she points out that he is changing and he's becoming more of a monster because he's taking, well, he is dominated by all the responsibility and all of the hardships that Spider-Man is. He lost himself by negating and deleting Peter Parker from his life and only focusing on Spider-Man, which was not good and definitely is not good for his mental health. He's degrading, he's losing control over himself, and that mutation kind of takes control, that spider DNA, and he's becoming very aggressive. He has no control over himself, no control over his powers anymore, and he starts to be very, very bad, to say the least. He almost killed a cop, which was kind of bad. If you ask me, it was kind of horrible. But fast forward that, he gains control back again. He meets Jean Grey through another person again, and she tracked down, found out who Spider-Man is. She found the letter he wrote to MJ at the end of No Way Home, and he threatened him that Jean Grey, would go to MJ and hurt her. There is a fun race between the two of them. Who gets to MJ first. Spider-Man in the meantime finds out that Jean Grey's telepath powers only work at a distance of 10 meters. If she's not close to someone, by the distance of 10 meters, she cannot swap. Let me drink. Hydration. Very important. Damn. Ooh, that hit different. They race to get to MJ. Spider-Man gets there first. He locks Jean Grey into the sky with a helicopter, so she cannot leap into someone else's mind. He gets to MJ. He basically kidnaps her, and he tells her that she's in danger, that someone dangerous is after her. They get to a rooftop. Spider-Man tries to explain stuff to MJ, and MJ is like, wait a second. Who are you? She starts asking him some serious questions like, I know that I'm supposed to know you because everything that happened in Washington, in Europe, every time Spider-Man saved her and Ned, it all doesn't really make sense. It doesn't hit. Like, she feels like she's supposed to know who he is, but she doesn't, and she can't figure out why. And she's like, you are supposed to know, you should know, I'm sure you know, Spider-Man, why I don't. And Peter is all confused, like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm Spider-Man, I do not know who you are, blah 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 blah. And MJ is like, I know I'm supposed to know who you are. I was a friend, maybe more. She starts putting some interesting questions, and then she lifts Spider-Man masks and she kisses him. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why would she do that? It doesn't make any sense. You don't even know who he is. Just because you want to know who he is or finding out who he is as a person, you're gonna kiss him? I was like so freaked out by that moment. But then it all made sense. She lifted Peter Parker's mask and she's like, oh my god, Peter, I remember everything now. And Peter is so happy, like, oh my god, MJ, you figured it out. That's amazing. That's great. But then Jean Grey is like, yeah, no, it's not MJ. It's me, bitch. It's me. Which is weird. That means Jean Grey kind of kissed Spider-Man, if you think about it, but she only did that to hurt him, which is kind of hilarious. Anyway, Peter Parker, of course, even more heartbroken than before. He chokes MJ, well, Jean Grey, and then Jean Grey lets control of MJ while jumping off a building. Of course, Spider-Man Peter saves her, and then he gets a glimpse of who she is. She sees her face and does some research and finds out she is someone named Jean Grey. The whole cinema was like, Jean Grey, oh my god. Even I was a bit surprised, even though I saw the leaks or heard about the leaks, but I was like, oh, come on. I don't think she is Jean Grey. But she actually was. Then she takes MJ to Frank Castle so Frank Castle, excuse me, can protect her in his shipyard, I guess. It was weird that his home was now in a shipyard. We have more conversation between Spider-Man and Frank, a more dynamic between them. Spider-Man claims that he and Frank are similar, and Frank is like, boy, I didn't choose this life. It's a sentence. Like, he wants to point out that Spider-Man's isolation is pretty much of his own choice, not because of his decision of his life, or how his life turned out for him. Like Frank Castle made his choices, and he got the life that he has right now. Meanwhile, Spider-Man can he forces himself into isolation and being all alone. It was a nice dynamic between the two of them. Anyway, MJ gets into Punisher's protection, custody to say so. We have another cute dynamic between Spider-Man and MJ. Tom Holland and Zendaya's chemistry is amazing. It helps a lot that they are lovers in real life too. It was very nice seeing them together. Then we get into a sequence where Jean Grey is attacking the damage control base again. Spider-Man rushes there. MJ asks Frank to help him too. They get there together. And then they face the Hulk. Jean Grey took control over Bruce Banner and made him the humanoid Hulk that we see in Endgame and She-Hulk. They fight. Spider-Man and Frank Castle wins. It's hilarious. Their dynamic between there was a moment where Frank Castle suggests that he would go after Jean Grey and Spider-Man fights the Hulk alone, and Spider-Man was like, you just want to get out of fighting the Hulk, and Frank was like, yep. It was a funny moment. I also kind of disliked it a little bit because it's not really in Frank Castle characters to dodge a fade. That motherfucker doesn't care if you're the Hulk or not. He's gonna fight you. That felt a bit out of place. Also, the fact that Jean Grey took control over his mind. That's also something I kind of dislike, because in other comics, no one could get into Frank Castle's mind because it was so broken and, destroyed. And he was, you know how Frank Castle is. I kind of dislike that in a way. Then we got the fight between Savage Hulk and Spider-Man. Bruce Banner loses all control of himself and lets the Savage Hulk take control, mostly because of Jean Grey's mind control. It was a nice moment. It was a nice fight. Also, it was kind of hinted that Hulk kind of remembers Spider-Man, but when you start to think about it, Savage Hulk didn't have any contact at all with Spider-Man, so it kind of doesn't make any sense that he remembers him, because it was a moment where Spider-Man Peter says that, hey, I'm Peter Parker, I'm your friend, to Savage Hulk. Well, pretty much to bring Bruce Banner back. And it was really no point into saying that he's Peter Parker, considering that not even Savage Hulk met Spider-Man. at that point, and Bruce Banner clearly doesn't remember who he was. It was kind of a weird moment in a way, but not that horrible or bad. Bruce Banner takes control again. Spider-Man rushes to Frank Castle, which is now mind controlled by Jean Grey. They get to a vault where the leader of damage control was. Spider-Man puts the... Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. The Spider-Man back in the movie went to the university where Bruce Banner was teaching to get more information about the device that keeps him human. You know, not keeping the Savage Hulk or the gamma radiation mutation away. He gains a lot of information to develop an inhibitor chip of his own to control his mutation. He manages to achieve that and creates that functional inhibitor chip, and also creates a universal one that would help him stop Jean Grey's powers. In that sequence in the vault, he uses that to stop her powers. Jean Grey is captured by damage control, and then the boss of damage control kind of slips in a way, because he says something like, while that Jean Grey was mind controlling him, and she was accessing his memories about someone named Sarah. Sarah, of course, being Jean Grey's sister. But the skeptic part was that he remembered what Jean Grey was doing while mind controlling him, because fast forward, there was a sequence between Spider-Man and MJ and Ned sharing a moment all together. And MJ says that she doesn't remember one thing while she was mind controlled. And Spider-Man kind of figures out that he was lying and rushes to the prison where Jean Grey was. But before we get to that sequence, I have to say that after everything turned out fine and after Jean Grey was captured, Spider-Man meets MJ to tell her that now she's safe. MJ finds out the letter Pete wrote for her at the end of No Way Home, telling her exactly what happened, the spell, how everyone forgot who he was. He tries to explain stuff and tells MJ he loves her, but MJ is like, I do not love you. I do not know who you are. That spell or whatever it is that you said happened, it worked. She has no memories, no nothing about him. And that broke Peter's heart even more, but he accepted the consequences of his action. Perhaps if he told her sooner, things would have been different. And yeah, MJ says she doesn't love him, she doesn't know him, and asks him to take her home. He takes her home, and she invites him over to spend some time with her and Ned. They spent some time together. Ned was very excited because he was really looking after Spider-Man. They spent some quality time. Their dynamic was fantastic. And then, of course, fast forward, MJ tells him about the mind control. He rushes to the prison to save or help Jean Grey because he figured out something was wrong. Frank Castle comes through too. While damage control was experimenting on Jean Grey, she evolved her mutation by finding out her sister died there. She got mad and her powers awakened, to say the least. They got even stronger, and everything in a 1 kilometer radius was under her control. Frank Castle sees that he can't get too near to the hospital. He gets up to a building roof with his sniper, and he's trying to shoot and kill Jean Grey at that point. Spider-Man gets to the prison unaffected by Jean Grey's powers. He finally accepts who he is. He finally accepts the fact that he's not alone, that he shouldn't have killed Peter Parker or eliminate Peter Parker from his life. He finally accepts that, come to terms to that, and at that moment, Jean Grey sends the Hand to try to deal with him. While fighting the Hand, they destroy his web shooters, his gadgets, everything. And at that point, he was like, no more. I'm Spider-Man and I'm Peter at the same time. He accepted who he was. It was a very nice moment. He finally had control over his organic web, his mutation. He was fully in control. We had a very nice fighting sequence. I loved it. It was amazing. And then we got to a point where him and Jean Grey had a conversation. Jean Grey got inside Spider-Man's mind and had a conversation with Aunt May, which was very heartwarming. It was very nice. It helped Jean Grey realize that she shouldn't be alone. She shouldn't isolate herself, because she also did that after her sister was taken away from her. She thought she was all alone, that she had no one. No one could understand her by being special, but Spider-Man was in the same predicament. And she kind of finally figured out that, hey, I shouldn't do this alone. And even Peter says to her that you're not alone. I'm here for you whenever you need, whenever what you want. You're not alone. I'm here with you. We shouldn't do and deal with all this stuff alone. It was a very nice moment. And of course, that moment had to be ruined by Frank fucking Castle, because that man can't stop himself from shooting people. He shot his rifle from the rooftop at 1 or perhaps 2 kilometer distance to shoot Jean Grey. He would have he would have hit her. He would have killed her if not for Spider-Man. Spider-Man protected her. He took the bullet for her. I think he got shot around the heart. I don't know exactly. I didn't really see, and they didn't really show where he was shot. Then we get the iconic comic panel where Punisher carries a almost dead Spider-Man to the hospital. Amazing shot. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm just gonna put it on the screen if I forget, I'm just too tired and I just wanted to edit this video ASAP and post it on YouTube. And yeah, the entire New York City goes to the hospital to cheer Spider-Man, to pray for his safety, to pray that he's gonna come back alive and gonna be fine. Of course, Jean Grey helps Spider-Man stay alive with his telepathic power. I don't really know how she helped him, but she did keep him alive and helped with his recovery. Frank Castle was apologized to what he did to him. It was a very nice emotional moment between them. And then Peter finally decided to get out of the hospital. Frank kind of helped him by wearing his mask and gloves and pretending he's Spider-Man from the window, while Peter Parker just normally tried to get out of the hospital. That moment didn't really feel like specific to Frank Castle. It was weird. It was kind of forced. But then again, it's a Spider-Man movie. But still, that was, I think, the thing that bothered me the most, because that was a very non-Frank Castle or non-Punisher thing to do. It was kind of goofy, too goofy perhaps. But then again, I try not to think about it that much. Then the movie ends with Peter meeting Led in a shop, the shop where he keeps buying flowers for May. He approaches him, does the handshake and greets him. He's like, "Hey, I'm Peter," and then they do their specific handshake that we see in Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. And then Ned is like, "Peter, oh, you're Peter," and it kind of hints that either Ned remembers who Peter was, or he figured out that Peter is Spider-Man. One of the two, because MJ kind of slips in front of Ned that Spider-Man's name is Peter, and I don't know, it's a two-way trip, I guess. I don't know how the fuck to say it. My mind doesn't really work properly right now. And either he figured out that Peter is Spider-Man, or he remembered and regained all his memories of who Peter Parker is. And then the movie ends, we have the credits. Unfortunately, in this movie, we do not have two post-credit scenes. We only have one, and that post-credit scene is from Ned app that he made to track down Spider-Man, or whatever, to point out his last whereabouts. We zoomed out of New York, we zoomed out of Earth, and it kind of detects that Spider-Man is in space. Before that post-credit scene, the Colombian, I think it was the Columbia logo that appeared before the post-credit scene, that had the Into the Spider-Verse glitch. So this post-credit scene either implies that Tom Holland's Spider-Man will return into Beyond the Spider-Verse somehow, or, and that's my guess, and that what I personally think that the post-credit scene means, it means that Spider-Man will return in Secret Wars because it was in the middle of space, not a specific planet, not nothing, and I think it hints to Secret Wars because what I think Doomsday is gonna end with Doom winning, all the multiverse is gonna be destroyed, and he's gonna reform them into the battle world, and that's where Secret Wars is gonna play off. That's where Secret Wars is gonna be, and that's where Spider-Man is gonna return, I think. That's my theory. That's what I think that post-credit scene means. It means that Spider-Man is gonna return in Secret Wars, not Doomsday, but Secret Wars. And yeah, that's pretty much my review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's an amazing movie. I loved it from start to finish. One of the best, if not the best, Spider-Man movie out so far. It might be the recency bias, but at the same time, it was such a nice movie, amazing movie. I loved it. I strongly recommend it. Other than that, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm gonna go sleep right now. I'm very tired, to be honest. I don't know how great my review was. I hope you enjoyed it. That was me. Have a great night. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And have a nice day, night, or whatever. I'm gonna go take a long sleep. Actually, never mind. I'm gonna wake up in fucking 6 hours. Great.